Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you for the new moon in Taurus happening on May 4th. How are you doing? I hope that all is going well for you and your family. I hope that Saturn retrograde is going better for you than it is for me. But you know what? I give thanks for Saturn. Saturn always gets me right. Capricorn always gets me right. So, okay. So, we know that we're having a new moon in Taurus. So the new moon is about new beginnings. It's about making a commitment. I see it twofold for the month, the upcoming lunar month, as well as for the year, because typically we only get one new moon in Taurus. So, yeah, we won't be back here until next year this time. So you need to make some commitments to this energy of Taurus within you. You know, remember that the entire zodiac and all the planets are within us. And so it's important for us to make sure that we utilize the faculty of these energies within us. You know, it's not that somebody else is a Taurus. No, you have Taurus in you too. And so what new things can you be doing regarding Taurus themes? And of course, it depends on what house Taurus is in. So if it is in your, first house, it'll be about the South. That would be for someone who's a Taurus rising. Sun and moon also. And I'm not actually going to go down the list because y'all know I am a student of astrology. Just go find your favorite astrologer. They'll go through all that. Astrologers love doing that. That's what they do. So yeah, really knowing that house, it'll tell you what that new thing is. But you can just really commit to working with the energy of Taurus in general regarding all things Taurus. So that's going to be regarding money, self-worth, value, even storage, savings. It's like, how do you spend your money? How do you save your money? I've heard astrologers mention that it's related to our energy. So, how are you doing with your energy? What are things you can do regarding your energy? And history. Taurus also has to do with history and family. It has to do with food, nature. So these are all things that could be coming up. I say be intentional in what you're focused on. Don't just let life happen to you. You live life intentionally and make things happen for yourself. So yeah, new beginnings and all things Taurus, renewing our energy with Taurus for the next year. Maybe you're going to think about those areas, so if it's family history, maybe you're going to learn something new about your family. Every month you'll learn something new about your family, or, maybe you need to record, Taurus is about collections. And so maybe you need to collect the history and put it, together so that it's able to be passed down from generation to generation. So, maybe you need to eat better food. You need to eat more whole foods. You're eating too much processed foods. Taurus can be about the good life, but it's all about simple pleasures. And so Taurus sometimes has to make sure this energy, we're not overindulging in too much of the good life, which could include food that it might be whole food, but it's not the best, for your body. Which would be things like desserts and just decadent foods and stuff like that. So, maybe over this next year, you're going to really look at your food. I don't really just think these new moons are just about the next 30 days. I believe that, the energy from the Metunetter that spoke is Ma'at positive. Ma'at's all about having a vision. And so I encourage you to really have a vision for where you're headed with this Taurus energy. Taurus is about our finances. You know, the banking industry is run by Taurus. Taurus is cha-ching, cha-ching, okay? So, you know, really, what can you do better with your money? It's about your self-worth, your self-value. So it's like, what are you going to commit to when it comes to Taurus over the next year? You know, Taurus is about, you know, self-worth, self-value, money. And then we have this energy of Ma'at speaking, which is about expansion and living according to the law of attraction. And so this is so beautiful. I'm so excited about this Ma'at energy combining with this energy of Taurus. Both of these are feminine energies in Ifa. Well, let me explain it from the Metunetter. It would be Ma'at, which is the reading from the Metunetter Oracle, and Heteru. Ma'at is the fortune major, and Heteru is the fortune minor. So it's like we have all this energy of good fortune and wealth and expansion and abundance. And, you know, though Taurus is fixed energy, Ma'at is the energy of expansion, you know? And so, you know, Taurus brings stability, and it's sort of like you can stick and stay with Taurus energy to get things done. But Ma'at is calling for us to expand, and especially using the law of attraction. We want to expand, and we want to open ourselves up to receive more abundance. Both of these energies are about abundance. So that's something else to think about. Just really working with this energy of abundance and expansion and cha-ching. That's all I keep thinking. Cha-ching, cha-ching. I will say I watched a video by Lada of Astro Lada. I loved what she talked about. I haven't learned about the stars yet, but she talked about how these last 3 moons, and it's the new moons, and I think there was the one in Aries, and then the one in Libra, the full moon in Libra, and now this one in Taurus, is happening in this star setup where one happened, I think this woman is chained, and so these moons are happening at different parts of her body, with this last one happening at her feet, and she's chained. And so these moons are about her breaking free of bondage, things that are keeping her in bondage that perhaps is not of her own doing. And so the way I'll explain it based on what Astrolata said is that sometimes we carry the burdens of our... Good evening. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for commenting. Sometimes we carry the burdens of our ancestors. We didn't do anything, but we're born into it. Some of it could be our genetic DNA, or excuse me, our ancestral DNA. It could be we are hanging around them. They're doing things that are not expansive. They have mental attitudes and understandings of themselves in the world that are limiting. And we just picked up on them. And so now we're in bondage. You know, we have constructs around our minds that will only allow us to experience certain things, that will only allow us to know ourselves in certain ways. And so this energy of Ma'at is like, yeah, you look at your ancestral lineage, but you want to find out the part of the legacy that you want to pick up and keep going and continue because it's positive. But you also, and this is again based on what Lada was talking about, you also want to see where does your ancestral DNA have you chained. You know, I just got to keep it 100. A lot of us are walking around being victims because that's how we perceive our ancestors, and maybe our ancestors told us we were victims. I don't know. I know when I first started getting messages about don't ever perceive Afro ancestors as victims. They were highly evolved beings. Those are the only ones that were going to make it through the transatlantic slave trade the way that they did. So that me and others who are descendants of slaves in the West could be here. And not just be here well. I live so much better than even my mother's generation. No, it's not perfect in the United States, but I tell you what, my mama grew up in Jim Crow South, you know? And so our ancestors have endured a lot for us to be here, and they have taught me we are not punks. Don't you ever do that, and don't you ever be a victim based on what happened to us. That's expansive knowledge, because it's like that's a part of my identity. I am a descendant of the slaves here in the United States. And so, you know, you got to drop it. You got to drop it. Maybe it's not that for you. Maybe it's something else regarding your ancestors. It's got you hemmed up and you need to break free. It wasn't something you did. It's something that, because the way this woman got chained up was her parents did something wrong and she ended up getting chained up. And so these are the things that we're wanting to loose ourselves of during this new moon. And I just say it will come about by being intentional. The other thing I'll tell y'all that Saturn in retrograde is helping me to realize, for me, the Saturn in Capricorn and Pluto is there and the South Node is there, for those of y'all that understand that. I just see everyone's under renovation, reconstruction, and we're all being made to become anew. And the way we become anew is, so like if people go in and they're renovating a building of some sort, they freaking gut it. They gut it. They go in, they may even knock down some walls, whatever wall was there. It's like, no, we don't want this wall here. We're gonna open the space up a little bit. We want an open air, you know, feel to the room or whatever, or to the space. They pull out, you know, maybe it's a breakfast bar that was in there, or, you know, it was a restaurant, but it's gonna be a health spa or something like that. Are they gonna keep a stove in a health spa? No. They're going to completely gut that freaking restaurant out to turn it into something new. Do you see the health spa person saying, "Oh, please, can y'all leave that that breakfast bar here?" And no. They're like, take it out. And so my point to you is, we're all under renovation. Everything is being restructured inside of us. And so if you are being called to release something and to step into something new, don't go grabbing onto what you're being asked to let go of. And stop wrestling. Stop wrestling with whatever is being taken away from you. It's like, we say we want new things, but then when the old gets taken away, we start crying like babies. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm speaking about my own self, you know. If you want something new, and what's required of you is to give up something old, then give it up. And this new moon is a great time to embrace the new, even if you don't exactly fully know what the new is. And I can tell you, my art is about having a vision. So set up a vision for your life regarding all things Taurus, you know. Set up a vision and work towards that vision. And keep the vision high in your mind, so that, you know, so many distractions happen in life. Taurus energy is about sticking and staying. If you want some energy that's going to help you stay the course towards whatever it is you want to achieve, you really need to up the energy of Taurus in your body. And ways to do that would be wear earthy clothes, go outside. Actually, self-care is a part of Taurus. You need to do things to take care of yourself. And do things that ground you. And hang out with other Tauruses. so that people who you know have Taurus energy, you know, people make it sound like Tauruses are, they so bullheaded. No, Taurus is fixed energy. It's the most inert sign on the zodiac wheel. And if you think about, if you really know this person's energy, because I hate talking about the sun signs, it makes me crazy now that I know astrology. But if you know someone who embodies quite a bit of Taurus energy, they're very loyal. They will not abandon you. And that's how we need to be about our goals. You know, my aunt says set the vision high. And then she says connect with the energy of Taurus to get her done. So, because Taurus is like, okay, what did we say we're going to do? We're going to get this done. All right. Taurus got sticking and staying power. So, yeah, really connect with this energy of Taurus. And going back to what I was talking about, it's so important for us to loose the chains of our ancestral constructs that are negative. And if that means losing your full identity and taking on a whole new identity that's more in alignment with the truth of who and what you are. I was talking to a friend today, and this person was saying, do not define me in any kind of way. I don't want to be a part of labels, nothing. I'm an infinite being, and that's just where I'm going to operate from. And, you know, we pull up whatever we need to be when it's time to be that, you know. Although I do accept I was born into a feminine body, brown skin, Afro, you know. This is my DNA. I'm Afro. For a reason. For a reason. And maybe it's to transcend this understanding of myself. But I do know I chose this identity here for a reason, but I can't operate solely from being a black woman. No way. No way. I have to transcend that and then bring the new to me, whatever that is. And other black women, they can do the same, and it won't even look the same because, you know, when you're dealing with infinite potentiality, people just, I remember reading a book by, this is another thing you can do, really do a lot of working on abundance, like healing your abundance consciousness, listening to things that are about abundance, law of attraction, all that kind of good stuff. But it's like he describes them as like super beings or something. I can't think of the man's name, but anywho, I used to read this book all the time. And it's like, we are really super, when you think about like the superheroes, that's really who we are. But if we don't allow ourselves to use the energy of Ma'at to expand, then we may find that we're just operating from, you know, this identity that the world and to a certain degree our ancestors has given to us. This may also be a week where you need to, a moon phase where you want to consider how are you going to implement forgiveness practices, and what are you going to do to, what are you committing to learning that's new for you? Maybe it's something that you've been studying for a while, you just need to learn a new aspect to it, but what can you learn? How can you expand yourself? Learn something new. And how can you train yourself to see the big picture and not just get caught up with the distractions of life so that you can move forward? At the very least, the other thing I like about not getting caught up with the distractions is I feel so much more at peace when I don't focus so much on the minute details and I just look at the big picture and really having that gratitude practice. That's another thing I would commit to if I were you during this new moon. For the next year, how will you be more grateful? You know, Jupiter is in Sagittarius, so it's really a theme that we have going on this year. Gratitude. Seeing the big picture will help you be very, very grateful. So I hope that this is helpful to you all. I'm wishing you all a great new moon. Thank you all so much for liking the video, watching the video. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to those of you in Patreon. I have just uploaded the weekly roadmap for you all. And so I will be posting that for you soon. And yeah, so thank you to everyone. Wishing y'all. Oh, I will say, you know, the energy of Taurus is the energy of Venus. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy. I'm like, I hope that this is helpful. It's coming from my heart. I really do believe that. Well, I know that. So thank y'all. I'm so happy. So happy this has been helpful to you. Really work with the energy of Venus. Commit to, Oshun. How are you going to work with Oshun over the next year? Commit to going into a deeper relationship with Oshun so that you can manifest. Taurus is about manifesting. So we really want to connect with the energy of Oshun. So again, thank you all so much. My website is goddessbodymindspirit.com. And you can join me in my inner circle. The levels are $5 up to $30. They are, all of them except for one include some level of reading, and some even involve classes that I'm teaching. So Patreon, patreon.com/goddessbodymindspirit. Check it out. See what it looks like. I would love to have you join the inner circle. Thank you all so much. You take care. Peace.